You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast, episode 122 of the College Loop Podcast. I'm Daniel Locke, @PAYTON on the Bird app or the X app, whichever one you want to call it. I am here joined today by Mr. Harrison Tarr and Daniel Locke. Tarr, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. I'm glad to be back. Thank you guys for stepping up in a big way. And during my time away, I was up in New Jersey visiting my girlfriend and tearing up the dance floor on at a wedding. So we actually had like a funeral in the morning and a wedding in the evening. It was like I was living an Adam Sandler movie. You know what? It was good to see everybody, and I got to be Uncle Harrison on Sunday and see my nephew. So you guys crushed it. I'm glad you guys held it down. I did not watch Auburn LSU. I've looked at the box. I've looked at a lot of notes, so I'm going to be running a lot of point during this segment. I think I'm going to watch the condensed game if I'm just going to be transparent with you guys.
I would just don't.
I watched the live feed while I was at this wedding. I checked it periodically, but families comes before football, folks. Unfortunately, sometimes that's just the hard reality that us football guys have to face. But all things considered, getting to be with family and being Uncle Harrison is that trumps everything. So, Daniel, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Sorry I was absent from the Sunday show. Got back to my house in Auburn about 10 minutes before it was time to record, and just was not in a place to do it. Very good weekend down in BR. Regardless, if you don't know, a lot of my family's Cajun, a lot of my family's from Louisiana. So anytime we go down for an Auburn LSU sporting event, it's a big old family reunion. Got the tailgate with a lot of friends on Saturday. Met a few listeners of the Loop, so that was really cool.
Awesome.
Up in the club level at Tiger Stadium. So it was like,
some
"Are you
VIP
on, dude?"
loopers?
And I was like, "No way!" And they're like, "Yeah, we listen." I'm like, "Hell yeah, that's sick." So that was really cool. Don't remember your name, but
that's the little Baton Rouge effect.
yeah. If that's you, reach out to me, and I'll get your name on the next show, I promise. But really, really good to be here.
Good. Glad you had a good weekend. Dylan, thank you for holding down the fort, as you always are more than willing to step in and do so. You're a rock star. We do have a winner for the score challenge. Guess that score challenge. That's Mr. Bubba. He predicted 34-17 LSU, so that's the closest that we had. So Bubba Watkins, congratulations to you. Shout out. Thank you for listening to Loop. Thank you for being a loyal listener and a subscriber. So we really appreciate you for that.
Yeah, those predictions are all over the place. This was the only one that had LSU winning by a double-digit
wide
margin. The rest of them were either, they had their own pair of these retired glasses over here. I cannot express that enough. These glasses are getting retired until I see otherwise.
Until basketball season.
Which 19 days away. Can't get here quick enough. But yeah, congratulations, Bubba Watkins. You know ball officially,
right.
Or at least you know ball from Week 7 Auburn versus LSU. You know ball.
And you know what? You deserve props for that, Bubba. So congratulations, man. Let's jump into some notes. Obviously, Hugh Freeze, as we're recording today, had his press conference earlier in the day. Talked about Robby Ashford. Talked about how much it sucks to lose. And a lot of notes. We'll talk about the rest of the presser here in a moment. But Dylan, I'll let you kind of take it from here about what Freeze said about Robby and the ongoing quarterback situation, because I think it left a lot of people uneasy.
Yeah. Whenever you go into a game, like whenever you leave a game that like what happened in Baton Rouge, the 48-18, I found this is an actual word. I never knew it was shellacking that went on in Louisiana.
Great word, by the way.
It's an awesome word. I love it. You have to understand where the fans come from, as well as where some of the players come from. And I'll let y'all voice y'all's thoughts on what Keontae Scott said, because I think what he tweeted out was and what he had to delete is enough evidence of some of the stuff that I talked about on the live stream on Sunday. But if you want to prove to a fan base that you aren't just looking to rebuild now and you'd like to win some games, I think you have to go into this week and say, we are looking at a potential quarterback change of some kind, or this is going to be an ongoing battle throughout the week or something like that. You can't just say, oh yeah, we're going to see both of them on Saturday. That's not what people are going to hear. That's not how you're going to get the fan base. I don't want to say on your side. 'Cause I don't think any reasonable individual is thinking that this is going to be a one and done year for Hugh Freeze. But if you want to prove that you're going to be willing to make those big time decisions to help the team out, I think it starts with Peyton Thorne's not cutting it. So maybe it's time to, see that jersey back there?
Yeah.
Get him on the field.
It's 9 time, as Keontae Scott said. He said 9 on Twitter. I think we'll talk about that here in a moment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just revert back to where I've been kind of all year. I think Auburn needs to play the quarterback, gives them the best chance to win. Right now, I do think that it's probably Robby Ashford. Here's kind of my thoughts on this, and to be transparent, fellas, my detox from Auburn football this past weekend. While I always want to watch the Auburn game, and I will always try to carve it out of my carve time out of my day to do so. I think I picked a good weekend to detox because the more I think about it, the more I kind of take this stance. And Dylan, I know you're probably just not going to like this, but it's not pro Peyton Thorne. It's not pro Robby Ashford. It's not pro Holden Geriner. It's not me saying, hey, Hugh, I have 4 years of eligibility, even though I do. I still have 4 years of eligibility, for those curious. Daniel also has 4 years of eligibility if you need some room on that DB room, if you need some reps. But I think that if the conversation now is truthfully Robby's the better option, you went to the portal and got this guy and he didn't pan out. He wasn't the 2021 version of Peyton Thorne that you were hoping he would be, yada, yada, yada. And it's almost borderline excuses and finger pointing. And that's what it is. It's finger pointing now. And Hugh kind of alluded to that about finger pointing today from, the transcript that I've read. And I speed read it right before we got on here. But I think that it's time to just come to terms with the fact that Auburn doesn't have an X-factor quarterback. And we've said that before here. An X-factor quarterback on this roster. I do think Auburn will be portal shopping again next year because the last thing, personally, fellas, y'all can tell me if you disagree. Last thing I want is to throw Walker Wright into a situation that he's not ready for. I do not expect Holden Geriner to return, whatever that looks like in the future. But I think you're portal shopping again because I don't think you have the X-factor guy on this roster. You just don't have the most complete guy that can really put something together through the air and through the ground, on the ground. But I do think Robby Ashford's probably your better option right now. What's disappointing to a lot of Auburn fans and I'm not seeing a ton of people say this. This is just kind of me making not an assumption, but a synthesization. Does that make sense? I think that the frustration may lie in the fact that a lot of Auburn fans were hoping to have kind of that guy that could stabilize things. And I don't think that he's on this roster. And Robby Ashford plays with a ton of heart. He's so easy to cheer for. And I get it. And actually, he's easier to forgive for mistakes if you're a true football guy than Peyton Thorne, because at least it always feels like Robby's trying to make a play. Peyton Thorne's just a completely different guy. He's just a different skill set. And, whatever you want to, comment on whether or not he's able to play quarterback in the SEC, I think the proof's probably in the pudding now. But regardless, I think that it's time to just come to terms with, okay, like we really don't have that guy at Auburn. And if at this point, it's just let's just play whoever's better, not who's going to be the guy who's just going to give us a better chance to win, because I don't think any of them are. Is that crazy, Daniel?
I mean, no, I don't think so. I mean, in this day and age of football, quarterback is so important, and you're not going to be able to get much of anything done without having the right one or one that fits what you're trying to do. And, Peyton Thorne's just not getting it done right now.
Sure.
Robby Ashford, I know he's got a lot of support, particularly now, but can we just pretend like last year doesn't exist? And I know there are a lot of factors there, like the coaching staff, the team was different, but how much? I mean, I still don't think Robbie's the guy like next year.
I think he is now. I think he is right now.
I think he has a good chance to develop into the guy next year. It's all about it. No one. I know I'm the biggest Robby Ashford truther, but no one went into the season knowing that Robby Ashford really finished product at quarterback. That's what Hugh Freeze set here to do. That's what he said in all of his opening pressers. He was very intrigued by developing Robby Ashford. Robby Ashford has the most potential to be an X factor quarterback than any quarterback on this roster. And I think that looking at how he's played this year, nothing has said that he is not that. They just have not opened up the playbook to him. And that's what baffles me is the fact that I've watched Phil Montgomery coach up RG3 and I've watched Hugh Freeze coach up Malik Willis, but they won't try to run this RPO system that they've been so keen on wanting to run with Robby Ashford.
That makes me think that there's more to this than
Agreed.
what's at the surface right now.
Agree.
I just don't think Robby Ashford is a long-term SEC quarterback. I'm sorry, I don't. He came in last year, made wonders happen with an absolute shit show, and I respect the hell out of that. I really do. But it's like a Mike White situation with the Jets last year. Like, yes, he came in and all things considered did a hell of a job. Does that mean you hand him the keys to the kingdom? Not exactly. You go and get Aaron Rodgers and then hope he doesn't tear his Achilles on his first drive. But you see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I can understand that.
That's a good analogy. That's a very good analogy.
Yeah, and that for me, it just comes down to I would love to see how Robby plays the rest of the season. And that, I mean, I want Robby Ashford to start the rest of the season. If it comes down to Robby doesn't perform better than Payton Thorne, which I find it very hard to believe that he wouldn't play better than Payton Thorne right now. Robby Ashford has a good chance to go into the rest of the season and find some momentum into becoming that guy. Because Robbie's only a sophomore in terms of his athleticism. Very few quarterbacks are like that great as a sophomore. Some of them develop in that junior and senior season. Well, look at Bo Nix. He was not really that guy until he went to Oregon as a redshirt junior.
I don't think that's a great analogy.
I'm just using it takes time for a guy to become that guy at quarterback. For most players.
I see what you're saying. I just don't think the Bo Nix is the right analogy, but I understand your concept.
It's good for clicks. It's good for clicks. Gotta get Bo Nix in there somehow.
Yeah, I get that, but I just, the parallelisms there are not quite the same for me. But I understand your point.
Yeah,
I do. I'm kind of with you, Daniel. Robby Ashford is a phenomenal athlete. Spectacular. And truth be told, I mean, I'm just going to say something that nobody's got the nuts to say, apparently. That son of a bitch should have really, really focused on the 100-meter dash. Because I'm not even kidding. Like, he would have been a national competing track athlete. Now, I'm not being ridiculous there. And I'm not saying he shouldn't play football. That's not what I'm saying at all. But, like, he's a freak athlete, and there's no doubt about that. I just don't think it works, like, long term. But I do think that this year it's probably kind of the Band-Aid you need to put on the bullet hole, to quote Morgan Wallen there for a second. But in terms of, like, long-term solutions, I don't even know that we need to talk about that. Like, I know I mentioned the portal shopping, and I still maintain that Auburn will do that at the quarterback position. But now is it about? I mean, you're going to win 6 games. Like, you're going to a bowl game. I still believe that.
I just what I saw on Saturday.
No, I still believe you're going to beat Mississippi State, you're going to beat Vanderbilt, and you're going to beat New Mexico State. I firmly believe those 3 things. And you're still going to a bowl game. Like, the season's not going to be up Schitt's Creek. I still think you've got a fighting chance come that last ball game in November. I really do, just because weird shit happens, and all those other factors about Alabama not being good, whatever, or being suspect, whatever you want to say. That being said, is it like it kind of feels a little bit like last year, and like if you put Robby in, like people just rally around him because he plays with a lot of heart, and that's nothing, no shade at the coaching staff. Auburn just doesn't have the dudes. They just don't. They just don't have the guys. And in moments, it feels like they do, and it feels like they're close. But in a lot of other moments, it feels like they're not. And Robby Ashford's one mega flaw, in my opinion. No, folks, it's not his passing capabilities. I don't think it is. I think your problem with Robby Ashford is his biggest asset and his biggest drawback are the same thing. Plays with a lot of emotion, which means he can also be a bit of a head case. And that means your highs are really high and your lows are really low. Because he is tremendous. Now, Dylan, there's plenty of film to back that one up. There's plenty of film to back that one up.
Yeah, last year I would say.
Yeah, this year, no. I'm not discrediting that. But the highs are high and the lows are low. Is that something you're willing to gamble on coming down the stretch? Yeah, I think so. Because there's a couple of games that if the highs are high enough, hell, you're right there in that ball game. And if the lows are low enough, let's be honest, you are probably going to lose that ball game anyways. I don't think he's an SEC long-term quarterback. But, whatever. Just do it this year. I mean, the Peyton Thorne experiment's over. Like it should be done. I don't think it is, but it should be. So enough quarterback talk. Let's move on.
I think Peyton Thorne. I think if you start Peyton Thorne the rest of the season, you're settling for barely making it to bowl eligibility.
I think you're barely making it to bowl eligibility regardless, but that's neither.
Yeah, I think Vanderbilt and New Mexico State are probably your most winnable games, and I think Peyton Thorne makes it a toss-up between State, Arkansas.
Home bowl game.
Birmingham Bowl, let's go.
Birmingham Bowl, run it back.
College Loop live from
Birmingham.
UAB.
That's right.
Live from that one pub.
Live from what's it called? I don't know. It'll come to me. Innisfree Pub in downtown Birmingham with bottomless mimosa pitchers. It'll be awesome.
And with everything that he said about the quarterback situation, just getting to the rest of the presser, he said a lot of the stuff that does matter for the rest of the season. In terms, start off with the injuries. Damari Alston.
Can I talk about Damari Alston's injury for 2 seconds? And this is not me saying, "Oh, I'm right and you're wrong," but Hugh Freeze saying it does not look good for Damari Alston. I mean, what the hell did I say like 2 weeks ago? And someone in the comments called me an idiot. Someone called me a damn idiot. I almost said the GD word, but I didn't. So one of you freaking losers called me an idiot. And I just want to say that not rushing back to Damari Alston is the camp that I'm in. Just saying. And we'll talk about that here in a minute as to why. Dude should not be playing football right now. Just saying. Continue.
Well, as Tarr just said, the Damari Alston thing. We've not got any good news yet. We have not gotten any good news yet from Keontae Scott. The only big news that's come out of Keontae Scott is him just making that tweet about Robby Ashford.
He's been active on the Bird app.
Yep. You tweet something like that, you got to defend yourself. And by
he was active before then.
Was he that active?
Yeah.
About the game?
Not about the game specifically, but he's been pretty active, like on Twitter in general, in terms of like supporting the team.
I was saying that one tweet went viral.
That one was different, but no, he's been pretty active.
Yeah. I haven't got any news yet, as he said, I think Free said it straight up. No good news yet from Scott. Simp wasn't playing at 100% versus LSU.
But he will get better.
He will get better. And lastly, Austin Keys is officially out of his cast, but probably is not going to play against Ole Miss. So it means you're just – I think Mississippi State, maybe. I think Mississippi State's like a soft maybe.
Yeah.
But at the very least, he'll be back for Arkansas. That's what I think, at least.
I also thought it was kind of interesting that someone I can't remember who asked, but someone mentioned the similarities of the Ole Miss and LSU offenses. And Hugh pointing out, like, oh, by the way, Ole Miss goes faster than LSU. Yeah, well, that's true. Very interesting to see the parallels. How we're already talking about that. Obviously, it is Ole Miss week, but
Ole Miss week.
There are some interesting similarities, except for LSU's got a guy playing quarterback who's just, I flat out think a lot better. So actually, I think you get them in the order you'd rather play them.
Yeah.
Just to be completely candid, because I still think Saturday is winnable. I'm not going to pick Auburn to win, but I think it's winnable.
Here, you need these.
I didn't say I'm going to pick Auburn.
I was already reaching for it as soon as you said it was winnable. I was like, oh yeah, there we go.
I think every game on the schedule is winnable.
Yeah, well, every game is winnable in some way, according to ESPN FPI.
After the Georgia game, I saw all I needed to see that every game is winnable.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if Auburn plays Georgia this week and they play like anywhere that they played, any level that they played against Georgia, they win because Brock Bowers is out for 4 weeks.
4-6. I hope he's healthy enough to be there when the Panthers trade up to get in the first round to actually get some guys who can catch the ball.
Don't want him to have a career-ending injury. Would not hate if he missed the Tech game.
I wish him the best after his Georgia career.
Yeah.
I just don't want to play for the rest of the season for Georgia.
It's going to be a fantastic Pittsburgh Steeler.
I don't think so, sir.
I don't think so either.
The Panthers might be dropping a lot of players for first round pick again because right now the Bears have ours.
Yep.
So that means they have the number 1 and the number 2 pick, and that makes me so sad. But Tarr, you bring up Damari Alston. How much you think? How much we all think he's probably the workhorse back on this team? I think Damari Alston has proven this year, pre-injury, that he is the best running back on the team. I'm waiting
on the haters.
Oh yeah, they'll be there.
I'm giving them an opportunity to respond right now.
But,
I'm sorry, we can't use the word haters. That's immature and childish.
But we've talked about this a little bit, and I brought up a little bit. I'll let y'all kind of have y'all's get y'all's flowers for this as well.
I'm just gonna give it to Daniel.
Yeah, and that's gonna open up the question. Jarquez Hunter has not played like Jarquez Hunter that we were expecting to see this year, and we've seen a lot better performances from Brian Battie, Jeremiah Cobb, Damari Alston, Sean Jackson at times has came into games and is taken over. And Daniel, I'll let you start off with. Is it time for Jeremiah Cobb to start getting like Jarquez Hunter level like starts or carries?
I think it's a little too early for that. Jarquez hasn't been bad. But I think he is better as a complimentary back as opposed to being the main guy out of the backfield. In which sense I could see that. But Brian Battie's done really good as well. I get he's tiny. So him running up the middle isn't always going to be, great, but it can work. I wouldn't mind seeing Cobb get more of a role. I mean, at this point, the red shirt's burnt. So might as well keep going. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
I mean, looking at the stats, Tarr, you can go ahead.
I was going to say there's never a reason to even protect his red shirt because he's too damn good.
Yeah. I mean, look at the stat sheet for the season. I mean, Holden Garner has the least yards per carry at -3. That's just because of the sack. But right in front of him is Jarquez Hunter, averaging 3.8 yards per carry on the season. And then you go up a little bit. Peyton Thorne's 4.5. Brian Battie is 4.8. Robby Ashford's 4.8. Damari Alston's averaging 5 yards a carry. And Jeremiah Cobb is averaging 6.5 yards per carry. And then, of course, you have Justin Jones and Sean Jackson absolutely leading the charge there. But Jeremiah Cobb every time Jeremiah Cobb has touched the ball, he has proven why he should be getting more and more touches.
That's because
every
he's a
week.
Dog.
Exactly. And he's a guy that goes in typically whenever Robby Ashford goes in. And, when Robby goes in, typically the run game works out a little bit better. And Jeremiah Cobb kind of plays off of Robby Ashford a lot better than some other
Helps when you have to have a spy.
Exactly. But Jarquez Hunter just has not been that guy. And I know he's currently second on the team in yards, but he also has 57 carries Brian Battie is only, I think, 40 yards behind him, but he's also 21 carries behind him.
Right.
I mean, it just seems to me that this year, Jarquez Hunter has just not been himself.
Yeah, I don't know what's up.
I just don't. It's either just something's he's not there mentally after everything that went on.
Off-season.
But we came into the season saying that Jarquez Hunter is going to lead the charge and get Auburn to 1,000-yard rusher. Did Tank didn't hit it last year, did he? Yeah, Jarquez Hunter not on pace for that. And I'm surprised Auburn's even on pace for 1,000-yard passer with how inconsistent the passing game has looked. But I just don't think Jarquez is there, and I don't think Jarquez is. I think we
overhyped
or overestimated his ability to be
the
guy back.
Jarquez Hunter might have to play his senior year. I said it. No one said it yet. No one's had the stones to say it. I'm not saying I'm just like this, huge nuts guy over here, but like we are trending toward like Jarquez Hunter might have to play his senior year.
Dude, starting running backs next year, Jeremiah Cobb. Does Brian Battie have another year of eligibility?
No.
Dang it. Jeremiah Cobb,
you get
Damari,
Cobb, Alston, and Hunt, and Fat. Jesus Christmas. Okay. Obviously, I did not watch the LSU Auburn game yet. Like I said, I've looked at box scores, and I'm not qualified to be giving grades right now. I'm either gonna do my game, I guess, condensed game, and grade it off that, or I'm not going to give a grade this week just out of respect for the fact that I'm not going to bullshit to you guys to listen to the loop and act like I'm qualified because I saw the actual. It's different actually watching the game than looking at the box score or even watching highlights, obviously. And I'm not going to just sit here and pretend and spew bullshit. So, Daniel Locke, I'm going to start with your offense, defense, and overall grade for Auburn at LSU in the absolute ass whooping that the Plainsman Tigers received in Death Valley.
Offense C, defense F. No, I'll give you a D minus. I'll give you some grace because Jaden Daniels is good. I'll accept a late assignment because I'm a good professor. Overall,
5 stars on Rate My Prof.
Yeah, for sure. Overall, I'll probably give you a D plus.
There you go. Dylan, go ahead.
I'm trying to do the quick math real quick to get the average.
The
score.
average. I'll go ahead and chime in that Auburn Mississippi State at Auburn has been announced for a time, and that's the 2:30 game. Is that game on CBS?
SC Network.
Hell no.
I was about to say, how the hell would that have got on? I was afraid that was going to be an 11 a.m. kick.
That it's reserved for who's playing that week? Is it Kentucky? Kentucky someone? I know you got me one to look.
Well, is it not Bama, Tennessee?
Bama, Tennessee is this week.
Oh, hi. Yeah, third Saturday night. Well, that's what isn't it called the third Saturday in October?
This is the third Saturday in October.
Is it actually? Holy shit. It's October 16th as we're recording this.
Well, welcome to the world. It's Georgia, Florida.
Well, duh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a game. Florida might.
No, continue.
Something crazy. But, okay, so offense, I'm going to give the offense an F.
Okay.
Nothing I liked happened. I can appreciate a guy who likes to stick to his guns. Lord knows I do it. That jersey right there proves it. But if sticking to your guns just ultimately just kills the offense at every given time, I can't give it a higher grade than an F. You chose to fail at every aspect of the game. I know Hugh Freeze, I respect him a lot for taking ownership to when a drive gets killed. But at some point, you have to understand, like, sometimes it's not the coach's fault that plays don't work. Sure. Robby Ashford went to a game and drove down the field for 28 yards, and then Peyton Thorne, incompletion, sack, punt. Whenever the ball was finally moving, that earns an F. Defense, I'm a little more lenient with. I think they played very well towards the end of the game. You can only do so much against Jaden Daniels. You shut down Brian Thomas and you slowed down Malik Neighbors. But the third string guy is up there as well in terms of how good he is, and LSU finally found a running game. I'm going to give the defense a C plus, just because I think they did pretty well down the stretch and kind of shutting it down. Is just you can only do so much whenever your offense isn't holding onto the ball longer than 3 plays.
Sure.
But overall, gives them a D. I think this is probably the worst Auburn's looked all season long.
Horrendous.
And it does not deserve I'm honestly tempted to give just the overall failing. I'm just go into the grade book and just kind of say, I know you got a C plus, but F no matter what. Just zero. Just brings it all the way down because that's just how bad that game was overall.
Yeah, the Auburn Tigers failed miserably on the field, but you can take a huge W if you head over to thewarreport.com and pick up your very own College Loop War Report Podcast Network co-branded Feeling Loopy t-shirt. Most comfortable t-shirt you'll ever own in your entire life. Only $25. Comes in 5 different colorways. I love this shirt. I rocked it at the Auburn Volleyball game the other day. The Daniel Locke and I went to the day after the UGA game. It was very nice to catch up with my good friend Daniel.
I rocked mine yesterday.
And yeah, Dylan and I and Daniel, we all rock ours all the time. You can be just like us, or don't be like us. Be yourself. Be unique. You are you. But if you purchase the t-shirt, make sure you go on Twitter and use hashtag FeelinLoopy, FeeLin, no G in feeling. Hashtag FeelinLoopy and tweet at us, and we will make sure we throw it up on the stream for whoever purchases it, because we certainly appreciate your support. Also, while you're at it, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, drop your comments, tell us about your quarterback conversations, tell us about your running back room discussions. Let's talk about, give your grades. Let's hear your grades. We want to hear them. and make sure you give us all of your feedback because you guys are the reason we get to do what we get to do. So, early thoughts on Auburn Ole Miss to put a nice little bow on this football conversation that's already gone a half a show.
Oh, we got one more thing after this.
Yeah, I know, but I'm sorry. Let's
last negative thing about the football.
Yeah,
because Jordan Crawford, huge positive.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll end it on a high note. Early thoughts about Auburn Ole Miss. Daniel, just give me your initial knee-jerk gut reaction when you look at this one, and you look at how Auburn stacks up against a high-octane Lane Kiffin offense and whatever Ole Miss trots out and calls a defense. Your thoughts of the Tigers' chances this week. Night game, 6 p.m. kickoff at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Where's your head at right now, Mr. Locke?
Well, honestly, this year has kind of gone the way I expected it to for Auburn. I expected them to be 3-3 heading into this game. And I predicted them preseason to catch this win, I believe.
You had them beating Texas A&M and then losing this game.
Oh, okay. Well, I did another pick where I flipped that. So, since I'm that guy, and I make the rules in the life of Daniel Locke, I'm just playing.
The recordings say otherwise.
Well, at some point in time, I had a change of heart. So I'm not shocked to where Auburn's 3-3 right now. Like that's fine. I think they get this game. This just seems like a game that Lane Kiffin loses. Ole Miss is doing good this year. His head is about to be huge coming into this game. Ole Miss has won like twice at Auburn in the last, I don't know how long, but I think that's right.
And Auburn? I think they're 17-3 Auburn's way in Jordan-Hare.
Sure.
I believe that's right. In the last 20, they've won 3.
I'll buy it. I'm sure it's a real stat. I don't know why I said I'll buy it, but yeah, those are good. So I think that's kind of what's going to happen. Lane Kiffin's going to come in, and then these are the games that, like I said, Lane Kiffin loses, and that's why Ole Miss will never make the playoff with Lane Kiffin as their coach.
Yeah, that's new. I mean, I don't think that there's no validity to what you said. I'm gonna have a hard time picking Auburn this week just because of where they're at, in terms of the offensive identity or lack thereof, and it's week 8, but game 7. I've got a hard time with that, but I think it's a winnable ball game. I like what you said there, Daniel. This is a game Lane Kiffin loses. Because why the hell not? Let's not throw stones. Let's not forget this would be like a game in an inverse scenario that like Gus Malzahn would lose, like that kind of vibe of a game. You know what I'm talking about? Not necessarily specifically to Ole Miss, but like that kind of vibe. Like why would Auburn lose this? And then they do. This feels like a Lane Kiffinism, like you said, but I don't know, man. Gonna be tough pressed if Auburn can't establish an offensive identity, especially if they can't move the ball against Ole Miss, man. I'm going to be tough to believe it because that Ole Miss offense, like I said, high octane, high tempo, put up a lot of points. They are going to score. Your defense has got to hold them to 3s, not 6. I like Auburn's chances because they're at home and because it's a night game. I really do think that kickoff time plays so much of a factor into environment. We know this. I won't pick the Tigers. I'm not going to, but I do think there are certainly many avenues that Auburn can win this game. Dylan.
Yeah, look at this game. I'm not going to boog. I don't, as far as I know right now.
Cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic. I say it every week. Ole Miss doesn't typically beat Auburn in any scenario. Ole Miss has never been a threat to me in most seasons outside of Potato Man. This going to be a big game for Hugh Freeze, personally. And revenge game. And it just comes down to if Auburn wants to win this game, and if Hugh Freeze wants to win this game, he needs to prove to the fan base that if when the going gets tough, he's willing to make those key decisions and key changes in order to make the team play better and look better, and let the offense move the ball. And that starts with number 9. I would love to see if Robby starts this game. I have a good feeling that I might change my prediction in the pregame. but we won't know if he starts or not until
Saturday.
kickoff. Yeah.
5:54 whenever they announce starting lineup.
So pregame. So the pregame show, I'll probably end up giving 2 predictions. One if the other quarterback starts, and the other if Robby starts.
Speaking like the man's Voldemort. Let's talk about Jordan Crawford very, very quickly, Dylan. I'm just going to let you give the rundown synopsis, and then let's keep moving.
Yeah, got Auburn picked up the commitment yesterday of 4-star defensive lineman Jordan Crawford from the class of 2025. Huge pickup, strong, fast defensive tackle, and he is now the 4th commit in Auburn's class of 2025. And that class is now up to number 9 in the recruiting rankings for 24/7. A lot to change for 2025. We're still waiting for some other guys for the class 2024 because that's going to be the class you're going to see next year. Jordan Crawford, though, 6'1.5", 300 pounds from Parker in Birmingham, Alabama. Picked him right up out of Nick Saban's backyard. It's just going to be a great pickup, and you just need more defensive line depth as much as possible, building a team like Hugh Freeze is trying to do.
Blue chip ratio. Keep building it, and I think Hugh Freeze and company is going to do a great job of that. Let's talk Auburn men's basketball for a second here. KenPom is out, boys, and the first KenPom ranking had Auburn at number 16. Am I making that up?
I think it was 16. Offensively, they're ranked 15th, and defensively 16th.
We're 15th overall, 16th offensively, 15th best defensive team. AP poll is also out. Auburn's unranked, which is interesting. They're tied with UVA with 27 votes for number 31. Like what? All behind Tennessee, Arkansas, A&M, Kentucky, and Bama. I'm going to put a quick note on this, just really quickly. Auburn's got a shitload of talent, and this season could be really, really fun for Auburn fans. I think that this could be a really, really special year. I buy 0 stock into the AP poll in basketball. I really don't. It's fun. Like it was fun when Auburn was number 1.
At least the preseason poll.
I don't really pay attention to it then, even throughout the season. I mean, KenPom matters in my mind so much more because that actually tells you about your quad 1, quad 2, quad 3, whatever, quad 4 wins, losses, things of that nature. I think that all just matters so much more. And the AP poll, I really just don't give a shit. Like the AP poll, they almost kind of put it out for fun, which is fine. Like I have no beef with the Associated Press ever. Like I really don't. I know people hate on like their football rankings or whatever. I think the Associated Press does a great job in a holistic view of their sports coverage.
You just hate the voters.
Yeah, and that's not the AP. That's not the Associated Press's fault per se.
Yeah.
I buy no stock in the AP poll for basketball for sure. I am a huge proponent of what's your basketball BPI, your RPI. And what's your KenPom rating, and how do you actually grade, as opposed to what are the vibes? You know what I mean? Because it's kind of what it feels like for me for the AP poll is just vibes, and how you're playing lately. Which there's some validity to that in basketball too, but that's neither here nor there. I'm really, really excited about this team. I mean, Denver Jones, Aiden Holloway, Jenny Wilson. Like, do I need to keep going? Like,
Jedi Broom.
Yeah. Like,
Leo Berman.
Jalen Williams. Like, I'm really, really high on this group, and I'm really excited to see him in action so we can actually see what this identity
Trey
is.
Donaldson.
But Daniel, how excited are you that this Auburn team is going to shoot the rock? And I think they're going to shoot it well.
They are. I was talking to a good friend of mine, good friend of the show today, head sports editor at the Auburn Plainsman, Jacob Waters.
Yes, sir.
To the Plainsman office from Hugh Freeze's presser. In today's day and age of basketball, it's more important to be able to shoot than play defense. I mean, both are important. I didn't say defense isn't important, but a team that can shoot, 2019 Auburn, is going to go a lot further than a team that can't, 2021 or 2022 Auburn. 2022 or 2023 Auburn, I should say, because, that's how the calendar works in basketball. But you got to shoot, man. You got to be able to shoot. And this team can, and it's going to be fun to watch.
I think it's going to be – this year has the potential. This group that Bruce Pearl's put together really has the potential to be a real true BP 3-and-D team. And not just that, you've got 3-level scorers. So, I mean, look at Janai. I mean, if Janai can knock down – if he can be a 20% plus 3 from beyond the arc and actually be able to play that true stretch 4, I mean, he's unbelievable. Jalen Williams, if he can stroke the 3 the way that we know he's capable of doing so, he's another 3-level scorer. And your guard play is going to be so much better this year, and you're so much taller. man, this has just got the makings of a special group, and I'm really, really excited about it. Auburn Softball, jumping over to the softball diamond, taking wins over Coastal Alabama and Enterprise State, known powerhouses in the state of Alabama, this past weekend. And Dylan, give us the quick scouting report, the Spark scouting report.
Yeah, after I think it was like one close win last time. Yeah, you got a close win over Alabama State last week, and you kind of have a bit of a slow performance against AUM as opposed to your first week in fall ball. You responded by beating Coastal Alabama Community College 25-3 and Enterprise State 13-0, in a week where Auburn's batters had an average of 0.5. So I believe
500 is crazy.
I believe it's very good. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Auburn had Annabelle Weidra go out there and pitch, and as a side of being a great pitcher against Enterprise State, she also went up and hit the ball very well. She had, I believe, it said 2 hits and even had a home run in the same game that she was pitching in. Emma Rolfe continues to show that she's going to be a great third string pitcher for the Auburn Tigers.
Sunday,
but it typically just depends on.
Probably be Penta again still, but that's
yeah. And going into this weekend, Auburn scored, I believe, 7 home runs. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they had 38 hits, 12 doubles, and 7 home runs last weekend. And they will go into this weekend with their last week of the fall ball schedule, playing Gulf Coast State College and Wallace State Community College to wrap up fall ball.
Really, really excited for Annabelle Weidra, by the way. This is going to be a fun year for her. I think so. It's just needed some work, some extra innings last year. Just needed to get innings into the Southeastern Conference, and that transfer was such a good move on her part. So really, really excited to see how she fits in.
Michaela Packer hit one over the wall.
Michaela Packer's such a dog, bro. She's so good, like unbelievably good. Moving forward, Auburn soccer drew with Texas A&M 0-0. We'll have the rundown from Colin Beiersdorf on that one.
You held one of the top scoring offenses in Subway soccer to
nothing,
no goals.
Yep, we'll have the breakdown on that one from Colin Beiersdorf on the Thursday installment of the College Loop, as well as the volleyball update we will provide with you guys after a 3-1 loss to Tennessee. Auburn volleyball still ranked number 23. And to throw a nice little cherry on top,
7 straight weeks of Auburn volleyball being ranked, by the way.
Every time that they're ranked consecutively, ranged over a program record. Fun fact.
Exactly.
Fun fact. And Auburn Equestrian beat number 10 UT Martin because Auburn is a certified horse school. That being said, all of these fun things and more are right up our alley. We enjoy bringing them to you guys, and we enjoy you guys interacting with us. Make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'll talk about that here in just a moment. If you've not already picked up your Feelin' Loopy t-shirt, head over to www.warreport.com, or you can pick that up from him. You can go straight to the link in any of our descriptions if you don't want to type that in the search bar. I don't want to do it either. I get it. So thank you guys so much for your continual support. Daniel Locke, tell everybody where they can find you. Love you, support you. Also, buddy, the countdown's on. I get to see you in 4 days, and we get to hang out.
It is.
I'm so excited.
And one good thing about that, Harrison, is every time I see you, it seems like the countdown gets less and less and less until I get to see you again. And that's just the perks of school being back in session. And I say school instead of just football because I know you'll be down for basketball too,
and baseball and gymnastics and softball. I'm around, man. I'm around.
As much as I can get you here. Yeah, but you can find me on X or Twitter, whichever you prefer, at Daniel J. Locke. You can find my written work for 1819 News, the Auburn Daily, or Braves Today. Or if you just want to know what's going on in the community of Auburn over at the Auburn Plainsman.
Very nice, Daniel. I'm Harrison Tarr. I buy Harrison Tarr on the Bird app. Come hang out with me there. Send me your hot takes. Also, give us your hot takes in the comments right here on the YouTube channel. If you're listening on the YouTube. If you're not and you're on one of the streaming platforms, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Facebook, whichever one's more convenient for you. Drop a comment on any of our Instagrams, any Instagram posts. Dylan will plug that here in just a moment. Always, always, always appreciate your engagement. It means the world to us. Number one way you can support the show, not buying the t-shirt, shockingly. We love if you buy the t-shirt. The number one way you can support the show is if you'd like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you can stay up to date on everything going on here at the College Loop. Drop in the comments, guys. I mean, it's so much fun. I'm not joking. We read your comments every day. Dylan and Daniel can attest to how often we all send each other screenshots of the comments and say, hey, look what so-and-so said. Hey, look what so-and-so said. And it truly is super, super cool to see how that continues to grow and get bigger from a week-to-week basis. And you guys, even if it's just one or two show to show, that we improve and increase in numbers. It means the world to us because it really shows that you guys are locked in and you guys are the reason we get to do it. So thank you guys so much. We're working our way towards 700 subs. I will start starving Colin on Saturday. I decided not to starve him this week because after watching LSU, I did not feel like he needed to do so. So I will not starve Colin this week, but we will starve him after Saturday. Work our way up to 700 subs. Help us get there, folks. You guys are the best listeners in all of college athletics, all of sports podcasting, and we cannot tell you how much we appreciate you. Loopers are the best. Dylan, tell everybody where they can find us, love us, support you, support us, and support you on top of that, as well as let's get out of here.
And of course, I'm Dylan Larck at your bullet tank on Twitter/X. You can also find me on Instagram as well at Dylan Larck at DYLARCK, and I don't think I said it at your boy the tank at YABOI the tank. Thank you all for coming to the pregame or the postgame reaction show Sunday as this is coming out. Had 41 peak concurrent viewers. Everybody was in the chat talking, and we just had a lot of fun talking about a game that was not fun. And of course, if you want to follow us here on the College Loop, you have us everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter/X, the works, all at the College Loop. And if you're going to look for that, it's all in the description below, as well as the shirt. And of course, if you want to have your own comments come up on the video, leave some comments for us in the comment section below. And if you want to start predicting your the Ole Miss game, go right ahead. And if you get it close enough, we'll put you on the show as well, just like Bubba Watkins, who is our first guy to do that. And congratulations to him for predicting another double-digit Auburn loss.
Let's get those predictions.
Exactly. And of course, if you want to listen to the show as well, you have us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. I completely understand why you want the audio show, because I'd get sick and tired of seeing Tarr's face as well.
The feeling is so mutual, it's not even funny.
But of course, everything being said, start Robby Ashford, and this has been the College Loop.
Go Rangers.